Imagine for a moment that your entire life is a reflection of the thoughts and beliefs you hold about yourself. Every experience, every circumstance, every person you encounter is a mirror, reflecting back to you what you have assumed to be true. Now think about how often you speak to yourself in ways that reinforce lack, doubt, or fear. What if I told you that by simply changing the way you speak to yourself, you could change the very fabric of your reality? That is the true power of your inner conversations. We all have an inner dialogue, those ongoing thoughts that play in the background of your mind throughout the day. These thoughts often form the foundation of our beliefs, which in turn shape our actions and reactions to the world around us. But the real key to transforming your life lies in understanding the power behind these conversations. The way you speak to yourself directly influences your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your reality. Therefore, the more you intentionally direct your inner dialogue to align with the life you want to live, the more rapidly your reality will shift to match that inner assumption. Think about the language you use when you think about your desires. Do you speak to yourself in a way that implies they are coming in the future? Or do you speak as if they are already a present reality? The key is to live in the end, to speak and feel as though your desires are already fulfilled. When you say, I will be successful, you are telling your subconscious mind that success is something that will come in the future, which keeps it out of your present experience. However, when you say, I am successful, your subconscious mind accepts this as your current reality and begins to reshape your experiences to match that assumption. This is not just a matter of positive thinking, it's a matter of assuming the feeling of already having what you desire. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. So when you speak as though your desires have already been fulfilled, your subconscious mind begins to accept it as fact. The more you speak with conviction, the more deeply this truth sinks in, and the more quickly your outer world will begin to mirror your inner assumption. The words you speak are not just fleeting sounds, they carry energy and vibration that shape your thoughts and emotions. This energy then radiates outward into your reality, drawing circumstances, people, and events that match the vibration of your thoughts. If you constantly tell yourself that you are struggling, that you are not worthy, or that your desires are far off in the future, you are reinforcing the belief that struggle and lack are your true reality. But if you speak words of abundance, confidence, and fulfillment, you begin to attract those very qualities into your life. One of the most powerful aspects of this practice is that it does not require any special circumstances. You don't have to wait for your outer world to change before you begin changing your inner dialogue. In fact, the opposite is true. You must speak and feel as if your desires are already a part of your present experience, regardless of what is happening externally. This is where true transformation begins, when you decide to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start living as if everything you desire is already true. In practical terms, this means consistently choosing thoughts and words that affirm your desired reality. If you want to manifest wealth, speak to yourself as though you are already financially free. Feel the excitement and peace that comes with being financially abundant right now. If you desire love, speak to yourself as if you are already in a loving and fulfilling relationship. Feel the joy of that relationship in every cell of your being. The key is to feel the emotions of your desires being fulfilled, because emotion is the energy that fuels manifestation. By speaking to yourself in this way, you are laying the groundwork for a life that reflects the truth of your assumptions. The more you engage in these inner conversations, the more you align yourself with the reality you wish to create. And as your inner world shifts, so too will your outer world. The power of your spoken words is not to be underestimated. They are the building blocks of the life you are creating. Start today by choosing your words wisely, and watch as your reality begins to shift and align with the truth of who you are and what you desire. What if I told you that the thoughts and words you speak to yourself are the secret force behind all your manifestations? Every time you think or speak, you are creating the world around you. Every sentence, whether spoken aloud or in the quiet of your mind, carries immense power. We tend to underestimate the power of our inner conversations, but when we begin to understand their true impact, we realize that we can literally shape our reality by speaking with purpose, intention, and belief. The language we use in our self-talk is one of the most profound tools available to us in creating the life we desire. Have you ever stopped to listen to your inner dialogue? Most of us don't. It often runs on autopilot, full of doubts, worries, and assumptions about the future. Yet every word we speak, whether positive or negative, creates vibrations in our subconscious mind. These vibrations then influence our actions, choices, and ultimately our experiences. What you speak to yourself daily forms your belief system, and these beliefs create the patterns that shape your external world. If you find yourself speaking words of doubt or frustration, that is what your subconscious mind begins to accept as true, and that is what you will begin to experience in your life. Conversely, when you speak to yourself as though your desires have already been fulfilled, your subconscious mind starts to align with this new truth, and it draws situations, people, and events to match that assumption. To manifest more effectively, you must first realize the profound importance of speaking to yourself as if your desires are already fulfilled. It is not enough to say, "I will," or "I am working toward." These phrases, though positive, keep your desires in the future. They place your goals in the realm of possibility, but not in the realm of reality. When you speak in the present tense, saying things like, "I am successful," "I am abundant," "I am loved," you shift your entire perspective. Instead of speaking of what you hope for, you begin to speak of what is already true in your world. This simple shift in language begins to transform the way your subconscious mind processes reality. Now understand this, your subconscious mind is not concerned with time. It doesn't understand the concept of later or someday. All it knows is what you tell it in the present moment. So when you say "I am," your subconscious mind takes that as a fact. It does not question it, nor does it consider any external circumstances that may seem contrary to the statement. It simply accepts your assumption, and because it accepts your assumption as fact, it begins to move all the forces of your inner world to make that assumption true. In a very real sense, your words shape your reality because your subconscious mind works in harmony with the assumptions you feed it. Imagine, then, speaking to yourself from the place of having already received your desires. For example, if you want financial abundance, instead of saying, "I will be rich," say, "I am wealthy." When you speak this phrase, you are not only telling your mind that you are wealthy now, but you are also feeling the emotions associated with that wealth. How does it feel to be financially free? What kind of confidence, peace, and joy would you experience if you were already living in abundance? Feel the emotions of being wealthy as you speak the words. This feeling is critical because it is the feeling that impresses upon your subconscious mind and sets the creative forces in motion. When you speak with deep emotion and belief, you are sending a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. Your emotions are the energy that powers your words, and this energy attracts to you the conditions, people, and opportunities that align with the assumption you have made. In other words, it is not just the words themselves, but the emotional charge you give them that makes them effective in creating your reality. When you feel the truth of your statement, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself to meet that assumption. At first, it might feel unnatural to speak this way, especially if your external circumstances do not yet reflect the life you desire. But remember, manifestation is not about what is happening outside of you right now. It is about what you are assuming on the inside. The more you practice speaking to yourself in this manner, the more natural it becomes. And as you begin to speak in alignment with the life you want to create, the outer world starts to shift accordingly. But there is an essential element to this process that cannot be overlooked: consistency. You cannot expect to speak in a way that reflects your desires for one day and then return to old patterns of doubt and fear the next. The power of your words lies in their repeated usage. Every time you speak in alignment with your desired reality, you reinforce the assumption. Every time you say, I am healthy, I am happy, I am successful, you are embedding that belief deeper into your subconscious mind. This practice, when done consistently, begins to alter your vibrational frequency and brings you into resonance with your desires. Now, let's talk about one of the most important aspects of this practice: feeling. As you speak these words, you must feel the emotions associated with having your desires fulfilled. If you say, I am successful, but do not feel the emotion of success, your words are not as powerful. Emotions are the driving force behind manifestation. The more deeply you feel the truth of your words, the faster the results will materialize. So, when you speak of wealth, imagine how you would feel if you already had that financial freedom. When you speak of love, feel the joy and warmth of being deeply loved. This is the fuel that propels your words into manifestation. The more often you speak to yourself in this manner, the more you will start to believe it. Eventually, your words will become so ingrained in your subconscious mind that you will no longer need to make the effort to speak in alignment with your desires. The words will flow naturally. And once this happens, the external world will have no choice but to reflect your inner state. The life you have been imagining and speaking about will begin to show up in your reality. In conclusion, the language you use with yourself is the most powerful tool you have for manifesting the life you desire. Your words create your world. Speak with intention, feel the emotions of already having what you want, and watch as your external world shifts to match the assumptions you hold. This is the key to unlocking a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment. Speak to yourself as. When you begin to truly understand the power of your thoughts and words, you quickly realize that the real key to manifestation is living in the end. What does it mean to live in the end? It means to think, feel, and speak as though your desires have already been fulfilled. Most people make the mistake of thinking about their desires in the future, as though they will arrive someday. But manifestation doesn't work that way. The moment you assume that what you want is already yours, you activate the forces that bring it into your reality. Imagine for a moment that your desires are already a part of your life. Picture yourself living in the outcome that you want, and then speak from that place. Most people talk about their dreams as if they are something they are working towards, something they will eventually achieve. But this mindset keeps those dreams out of reach because it suggests that they are always in the future, always something to strive for. If you continue to think and speak in this way, you will continue to push your desires further away. The key is to reverse this process. You must live in the end, meaning you must assume the feeling of your desire already being a reality. This is where many people get stuck. They spend so much time thinking about how they will achieve their desires that they fail to realize that the very act of thinking and feeling that you already have them is the magnet that pulls them into your life. It is not enough to simply say you want something. You must begin to speak and feel as though you already have it. When you live in the end, your thoughts and words reflect the fulfillment of your desires. If you want financial abundance, for example, don't talk about how you hope to have wealth in the future. Instead, begin to speak and think as though you already have wealth. Feel what it would be like to have more than enough money, to live in complete financial freedom. This is not just about wishful thinking. It's about assuming the state of being that comes with already having what you desire. Living, in the end, also means speaking as though your desires are already true, even if there is no evidence of them in your current reality. It's easy to believe in something when you can see it with your eyes, but the true power lies in believing in something before it materializes. For example, if you desire a new car, don't speak about the car as something you are trying to get. Speak as though you already own the car and feel the joy of driving it. When you speak from the place of already having your desire, you are imprinting that belief into your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is incredibly powerful, but it doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts whatever is impressed upon it. So when you consistently live in the end and speak from the place of already having what you want, your subconscious mind begins to assume that it is already true. Once the subconscious accepts your assumption, it starts to guide you toward the actions, people, and situations that will make that desire a reality. But here's the key: you must persist in the assumption. The mind will often try to throw doubt in your way. It will tell you that you don't have the money yet, or that you're not in the relationship you desire, or that your dream job hasn't shown up yet. This is why persistence is so important. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see results immediately. But if you persist in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, no matter what your current circumstances may suggest, you will eventually see the outer world shift to match your inner assumption. Living in the end also involves feeling the emotions of having your desires fulfilled. Your emotions are the driving force behind your manifestation. They are the energy that powers your thoughts and words. So when you speak and feel as though your desires are already a reality, you are sending out a frequency that aligns with that reality. If you are truly living in the end, you are not just saying the words, but feeling the fulfillment of already having it. The more intensely you feel the emotions associated with your desires, the more powerfully you will draw them into your experience. Think about it this way. If you wanted to manifest a new home, how would you feel if you were already living in that beautiful home? What emotions would you experience walking through the front door, seeing the rooms, feeling the space? You would feel joy, gratitude, excitement, perhaps even a sense of peace and security. Now, when you speak of your desire for the new home, speak from that place of joy and gratitude as if you are already there. This emotional charge adds energy to your words, amplifying their power. It is important to note that living in the end doesn't mean you ignore the present moment. It means you align yourself with the end result while still living in the now. You continue to go about your day-to-day life, but you do so with the knowing that your desires are already a part of your reality. You do not wait for the future to begin living your dream life. You begin living it now, mentally, emotionally, and verbally. Another aspect of living in the end is acting as though your desires are already yours. This doesn't mean you take actions to try to make things happen. Rather, it means you take inspired action from the place of already having it. For example, if you desire a new job, you don't need to force anything. Instead, take actions that feel right, acting as though you are already in that job. You may find that doors open up naturally, or opportunities start appearing that you hadn't considered before. The moment you start speaking and acting from the end, your reality begins to conform to that state. You may not see immediate changes in your external circumstances, but the changes will start to happen on the inside first. You will begin to feel more aligned with your desires, and you will start to see evidence of them showing up in your life. The key is to maintain your assumption and to keep living as though your desires are already true, despite what your physical senses may show you. This is where the power of manifestation lies, in the assumption, in the living from the end. When you live as though your desires are already a reality, you are not waiting for something to happen, you are already living it. The universe, in turn, begins to rearrange itself to bring your desires into your experience. So start living in the end today. Speak from it, feel it, and act as though it is already here. And watch as your dreams unfold before you. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly manifest their desires, while others struggle year after year, unable to see their dreams materialize? The answer lies in the power of belief, not just in the general sense of wishing for something to happen, but in the deep and unwavering conviction that what you desire is already yours. The power of belief is the cornerstone of manifestation. It's not enough to simply wish for something or even visualize it. The key to making it real lies in truly believing that it has already happened. Belief is not simply an intellectual exercise. It is an emotional experience that must be felt with conviction. When you deeply believe in your desires, when you truly feel that your dreams are a part of your reality, you begin to live and act as though they are already true. This feeling of certainty shifts your energy and sends out a powerful signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. Your belief becomes the magnetic force that draws your desires into your life. But here's the crucial piece. Belief isn't just something you have when everything is going well. True belief arises when there is no evidence to support your desire in the physical world. Belief in your desires must be maintained in the face of doubt and even in the absence of visible signs that your manifestations are on their way. Most people give up too soon because they cannot see the evidence of their desires in their current circumstances. But the secret is that the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Just because you cannot see your desires right now does not mean they are not already on their way. Belief begins with the assumption that your desire is already true, regardless of your external circumstances. This assumption, when held with conviction, begins to mold your reality. The external world cannot deny the truth of your belief. It must eventually conform to the inner state you have established. This is the power of the subconscious mind. It is the creative force that shapes your reality based on the beliefs and assumptions you hold. If you believe you are destined for success, if you believe you are already abundant, those beliefs will shape your actions, your decisions, and your experiences in a way that aligns with that belief. The problem arises when doubt creeps in. It is easy to believe in your dreams when everything aligns with your desires, but what about when things aren't going as planned? What happens when the physical evidence contradicts what you want to believe? This is where true belief is tested. Most people give in to doubt when their outer world doesn't reflect their inner desires. But this is precisely when you must hold fast to your belief. Faith is not tested when things are going well. It is tested in the midst of uncertainty. If you are truly committed to manifesting your desires, you must cultivate a belief that transcends the limitations of your physical senses. Your senses are constantly feeding you information about the world, but they are not always reliable when it comes to manifesting. They show you what is currently happening, not what is possible. In order to bring about change, you must believe beyond the evidence of your senses. This is where the power of imagination comes in. By imagining your desires as already fulfilled, by vividly picturing your dream life in your mind's eye, you train your subconscious mind to accept this vision as reality. When you deeply believe in your desires, your thoughts and actions align with that belief. You stop questioning whether or not it will happen because you know it is already done. This inner knowing eliminates the need for doubt or worry. You begin to make decisions based on the belief that your desires are already fulfilled. And as you do, you start to notice the world around you shifting to match your new belief. Opportunities begin to present themselves, doors that were once closed begin to open, and the people and circumstances you need to align with your desires begin to show up. One of the most powerful aspects of belief is that it affects your energy. Your thoughts and beliefs are not just abstract ideas, they carry energy. This energy radiates outward and attracts people, situations, and events that match the frequency of your belief. When you believe in your desires, you send out a signal that aligns with that belief, and the universe begins to respond by bringing you the circumstances that reflect your internal state. Your belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, pulling your desires into your reality. Another critical component of belief is that it must be unwavering. Doubt is the enemy of belief, and it is the one thing that can stop your manifestations in their tracks. Doubt acts like a magnet for the opposite of what you desire. When you entertain doubt, you are essentially telling the universe that you do not believe your desires are possible. The more you focus on doubt, the more you reinforce the belief that your desires are unattainable. But when you commit fully to your belief, when you stop questioning and second-guessing your desires, you send a clear signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. The key to cultivating unwavering belief is consistency. You must consistently speak, think, and act in alignment with your desire. The more you reaffirm your belief, the more deeply ingrained it becomes in your subconscious mind. Eventually, it becomes second nature to believe in the fulfillment of your desires, and when this happens, you will no longer need to consciously work at it. Your belief will be so strong that it will naturally shape your thoughts and actions, and your external reality will begin to shift in accordance with your inner conviction. One of the best ways to strengthen your belief is to practice gratitude for what you already have. Gratitude amplifies the positive energy surrounding your desires and helps to reinforce your belief. When you are thankful for what you already have, you signal to the universe that you are ready for more. Gratitude puts you in a state of abundance, which is the perfect vibration for manifesting your desires. In order to manifest your desires, you must start with the foundational belief that it is already yours. Your belief shapes your reality by influencing your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. The more you believe in your desires, the more powerfully they will manifest in your life. So make the decision today to cultivate unwavering belief in your ability to manifest anything you desire. By consistently speaking, thinking, and feeling in alignment with your dreams, you will begin to see the world around you shift to reflect that belief. The power of belief is your greatest tool in the process of manifestation, and once you master it, your dreams will become inevitable. When you begin to take control of your life, one of the most important steps is to recognize that your imagination is the key to shaping your reality. What you imagine, think, and feel is what you create. Your imagination is not merely a tool for daydreaming or fantasizing. It is the very mechanism through which the external world responds to your inner world. If you want to manifest anything into your life, you must first begin by creating it in your imagination. The power of imagination lies in its ability to form pictures, sounds, and sensations in your mind that become so vivid and real that they impress your subconscious. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts the images, feelings, and thoughts you repeatedly entertain as the reality you want to create. This is why your imagination is so important. It acts as the blueprint for everything that manifests in your physical world. If you can vividly imagine your desires, then the universe will work to bring them into existence. But how do you use your imagination effectively? It starts with the practice of living in the end. This means imagining the feeling of your desires being already fulfilled. Most people make the mistake of imagining their goals as something to be achieved in the future, but this perpetuates a state of lack. The key to manifestation is to see your desires as already real, already accomplished. If you desire a new home, imagine yourself walking through the front door, feeling the texture of the walls, hearing the sounds of the rooms, experiencing the emotions of living there. It is not enough to just think about what you want. You must experience it fully in your imagination. When you focus on a specific desire, you need to allow yourself to enter into that experience in your mind. Create as much detail as possible. Imagine the sights, the sounds, the feelings that would come with the fulfillment of your wish. By doing so, you begin to align your subconscious mind with the reality you are creating. As your subconscious mind accepts this imagined experience as true, it begins to work in harmony with your external actions to bring that reality into your life. The process of imagination works on the principle that your inner world governs your outer world. Everything in your physical reality is a reflection of what is happening in your inner state. If you are imagining success, love, abundance, or health, your outer reality will eventually reflect that state. This is where many people fall short. They fail to realize that imagining is not about just wishing for something. It's about assuming that what you desire is already true and living from that state of already having it. Imagination must be used with a sense of total conviction. When you imagine your desires, do not simply picture them in a passive, wishful way. You must feel them deeply. Feel the joy of already achieving your dream, the gratitude of having what you want, the excitement of seeing it all unfold. Your emotions are the energy that fuels your imagination and sends out the signal to the universe that you are in a state of readiness to receive. The more you feel the reality of your desires, the more intensely your imagination creates the circumstances needed for them to manifest. Another key aspect of using your imagination is to consistently return to it, no matter what your external circumstances may be. It is very easy to get discouraged when things in the physical world don't seem to align with your desires. You may look at your bank account, your relationships, or your job, and wonder if your dreams will ever come true. But this is where the power of imagination comes into play. It is not about what is happening in the physical world. It is about what you are imagining and believing. The more you return to your inner world, to the pictures and feelings you have created in your imagination, the more you are reinforcing the belief that your desires are already true. This practice of consistently returning to your imagination does not mean you need to spend hours meditating or daydreaming. Rather, it is about incorporating this practice into your daily life. Every time you feel doubt or frustration, take a moment to close your eyes and imagine the fulfillment of your desires. This is the process of focusing on the end result, regardless of your current circumstances. Your reality will eventually begin to shift to match the inner images you have created. One of the most powerful aspects of imagination is its ability to transcend time. It doesn't matter if your desire seems far off or if you feel that you're far from achieving it. Time is a construct that only exists in the physical world. In your imagination, time does not exist. You can experience the fulfillment of your desires now, regardless of how long it may take for them to manifest physically. The more you immerse yourself in the feeling of already having what you desire, the less attached you become to the idea of waiting for it to show up. Your imagination becomes a direct channel for the manifestation process, bypassing the need to wait for things to unfold in real time. One powerful way to use your imagination is through mental rehearsal. Athletes, performers, and successful individuals have long known the power of visualization and mental rehearsal. By imagining yourself succeeding at your goal, by seeing yourself performing the task with confidence and skill, you program your subconscious mind to accept that success as inevitable. Mental rehearsal works because it creates new neural pathways in the brain that align with your desired outcome. The more you practice this mental imagery, the more natural it becomes, and the more it influences your behavior in the physical world. Another important aspect of imagination is that it must be emotional. Simply visualizing an outcome without the emotional involvement will not have the same effect as vividly feeling the fulfillment of your desire. Imagination and emotion work together to create the conditions for manifestation. When you emotionally connect with your desire, you send a powerful signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. For example, if you desire love, imagine the feeling of being loved, of being cherished, of being in the perfect relationship. Feel the emotions of being adored and appreciated, and allow yourself to live in that feeling as if it were happening right now. This emotional engagement amplifies the power of your imagination and speeds up the manifestation process. When you feel what it would be like to have your desire, you are impressing that feeling upon your subconscious mind, which will then act to bring those feelings into your physical reality. This is why it is essential to immerse yourself in the feeling of having what you desire. It is this feeling that drives the energy of manifestation. Your imagination is your creative force. It is the tool you use to form the blueprint for your desires, and it is the key to aligning your subconscious mind with your goals. When you consistently use your imagination to create vivid emotional images of the life you want, you are preparing yourself to receive it. Your imagination is the first step in manifesting your desires, and when used correctly, it has the power to transform your life. Keep imagining, keep feeling, and keep believing, because what you imagine today will shape the reality of tomorrow. When you embark on the journey of manifesting your desires, one of the most important aspects to understand is the role that beliefs and assumptions play in shaping your reality. Every day, your thoughts, your beliefs, and the assumptions you hold about yourself and the world around you are forming the very foundation of your life. It is not the circumstances you are born into or the situations you find yourself in that determine your destiny. It is your beliefs about those things and the assumptions you make about how life works. If you want to change your life, you must begin by changing the assumptions that you have held for so long. At the core of this process is the understanding that your assumptions create your experience. What you assume to be true, whether or not you have any evidence to support it, becomes the lens through which you perceive and interact with the world. If you assume that success is difficult to attain, that money is scarce, or that love is something you have to chase, then those assumptions will form the framework for your actions, your choices, and the people you attract into your life. In essence, the assumptions you carry act as invisible forces that mold the world around you. So, what does it mean to change your assumptions? It means taking full responsibility for your thoughts and beliefs, understanding that you have the power to redefine your experiences by adjusting the assumptions you carry. Rather than waiting for external circumstances to change or for things to magically align, you must begin to live as if the outcome you desire has already come to pass. This is the key to manifestation. It is not about waiting for things to improve. It is about assuming that they are already in their perfected state and acting from that place. Your assumptions, particularly those that are deeply ingrained in your subconscious, shape the way you perceive reality. For instance, if you carry the assumption that you are unworthy of success, or that you must work tirelessly to earn what you want, those assumptions will dictate how you approach your goals. These assumptions will impact the decisions you make, the people you allow into your life, and the actions you take or fail to take. On the other hand, when you shift your assumptions, you begin to open yourself to new possibilities. If you assume that wealth, love, and success are natural to you, if you assume that you can easily achieve whatever you set your mind to, you will begin to see opportunities align with these assumptions. The process begins with identifying the assumptions that no longer serve you. Many of these beliefs were likely formed in childhood, based on the people around you, the circumstances you were raised in, and the narratives you were told about what is possible. These beliefs often operate on autopilot. running in the background of your mind without your conscious awareness. You may not even realize how deeply ingrained these assumptions are or how much they are influencing your decisions and outcomes. The first step to shifting your reality is to become aware of the assumptions you hold about yourself, the world, and your future. Once you have identified the limiting assumptions, the next step is to replace them with empowering ones. This is where the power of imagination comes into play. Instead of accepting the negative assumptions as truth, imagine a new reality that is in alignment with your desires. Picture yourself already living the life you want. If your assumption is that success is hard to come by, change that assumption by imagining that success is easy and natural for you. Visualize yourself effortlessly achieving your goals, feeling the emotions of success as though it were already here. As you immerse yourself in this new assumption, your subconscious mind begins to accept it as truth, and the external world will begin to reflect this shift in perception. Changing your assumptions requires persistence and consistency. This is not a one-time effort. It requires continuous practice to replace old, limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones. Every time you catch yourself slipping into old patterns of thinking, consciously choose to redirect your thoughts and focus on the new assumption you wish to embrace. This process is much like reprogramming a computer. The more you feed the new programming into your subconscious, the more automatic it becomes. The more consistently you align your thoughts and actions with your new assumptions, the more you will begin to see the changes take shape in your reality. One of the most powerful ways to reinforce your new assumptions is to speak from the place of already having what you desire. When you speak as though your desires are already fulfilled, your words carry an energy that further impresses your new assumption on your subconscious mind. Speak about your goals as if they are already in your life. Talk about your wealth, your health, your relationships, and your success in the present tense as though they are already your reality. This reinforces the belief that the desired outcome has already been achieved, and it sends a signal to the universe that you are fully aligned with your desires. As you begin to speak from this place of already having, you will notice that your actions begin to shift as well. When you assume that your desires are already realized, your actions will reflect that assumption. If you assume that you are deserving of abundance, you will make decisions that align with that assumption. You will take opportunities that reinforce your belief in your worthiness and your ability to attract abundance. Similarly, if you assume that you are capable of achieving your goals with ease, you will begin to take bold actions toward them, trusting that success is inevitable. One of the most powerful tools in shifting your assumptions is affirmation. Affirmations are a way of consciously affirming the truth of your new assumptions. When you affirm your beliefs, you are sending a clear message to your subconscious mind that these beliefs are now the foundation of your reality. The more you affirm the new assumptions, the more your subconscious mind will accept them as truth. It is not enough to simply say the words, however. You must say them with conviction, with feeling, as though you already know them to be true. Affirmations are most powerful when they are repeated consistently and with emotion. The power of your assumptions extends beyond your own thoughts and actions. The world around you is a reflection of your inner beliefs. When you change your assumptions, the people, circumstances, and opportunities you attract will also change. If you assume that people are supportive, loving, and generous, you will start to find more of those kinds of people in your life. If you assume that the universe always provides for you, you will begin to notice synchronicities and opportunities that align with this belief. The more you assume the best, the more the best will appear in your life. The shift in your assumptions may not happen overnight. It requires patience and trust in the process. But as you persist, you will begin to see the evidence of your new beliefs and assumptions manifest in your life. You will notice the changes in your behavior, in the way you interact with the world, and in the people who show up. Your outer reality will start to mirror the inner assumptions you hold, and the life you desire will begin to unfold before you. Remember, you are the creator of your own reality. The assumptions you hold are the foundation upon which your life is built. By changing your assumptions, you can change your entire experience of life. The power lies in your hands. Start today by examining your assumptions, replacing the limiting ones with empowering ones, and living from the place of already having your desires fulfilled. The world will respond to your new assumptions, and the reality you have always dreamed of will begin to materialize. To understand the true power of manifestation, you must recognize that the process begins not in the external world, but within your own mind. The inner conversations you have with yourself, the dialogues that occur within your mind every single day, are perhaps the most important factor in shaping your experiences. The words you speak to yourself, whether consciously or subconsciously, have the power to create your reality. Your inner dialogue is the force that either propels you forward toward your desires or keeps you trapped in the same cycle of limiting beliefs and circumstances. The key to unlocking your power of manifestation lies in changing the conversation you have with yourself. Most people unknowingly engage in conversations that reinforce their limitations. They talk about what they lack, what they don't have, and what they can't do. These internal conversations are filled with doubts, fears, and negative self-talk. And while these conversations may seem harmless at first, they are actually sowing the seeds of the life you are creating. If your inner dialogue is filled with negative self-talk, lack, or doubt, then that is the reality you will experience in the outside world. On the other hand, if your inner conversations are filled with confidence, positivity, and alignment with your desires, your outer reality will begin to shift to reflect that new internal state. One of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is the ability to control your inner dialogue. The words you speak to yourself have a profound impact on your beliefs, your emotions, and your actions. When you consistently speak to yourself in a way that aligns with your desires, you begin to create a mental environment that supports the manifestation of your dreams. If you want to manifest wealth, for example, begin by speaking to yourself as someone who is already wealthy. Rather than focusing on your current financial situation, engage in the inner conversation of abundance. Tell yourself that money flows easily to you, that you are financially secure, and that wealth is already part of your reality. When you speak to yourself in this way, you begin to align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the energy of abundance, and the universe will respond accordingly. The key to this process is feeling the truth of what you are saying. It's not enough to simply repeat affirmations or positive statements without feeling the truth of those words. Your inner dialogue must be infused with emotion and conviction. When you speak to yourself as if your desires are already realized, you must truly believe that they are. You must create an emotional connection to the words you are saying, feeling the joy, gratitude, and excitement of already having what you want. This emotional engagement sends a powerful signal to your subconscious mind that what you are saying is true, and as a result, your subconscious begins to work in alignment with that belief. It is important to note that the subconscious mind does not distinguish between positive or negative thoughts. It takes whatever thoughts you repeat most often and turns them into your reality. So, if you constantly engage in conversations of lack, doubt, or fear, your subconscious mind accepts these as your truth and begins to shape your reality accordingly. On the other hand, if you engage in inner conversations of abundance, success, love, and health, your subconscious mind will accept these as your new reality and begin to bring circumstances, opportunities, and people into your life that align with these beliefs. This is why it is so crucial to become aware of the inner conversations you're having and to intentionally direct them toward what you desire. Changing your inner dialogue requires awareness and consistency. The first step is to become conscious of the thoughts and conversations that dominate your mind. Pay attention to the stories you tell yourself about your life, your circumstances, and your future. Are these stories empowering or are they limiting? Are they filled with possibilities or are they stuck in a loop of fear and doubt? Once you become aware of the negative or limiting conversations you're having, you can begin to replace them with more empowering ones. Instead of thinking, I will never be successful, start thinking and saying to yourself, success is my natural state, and I am on my way to achieving everything I desire. The next step is to consistently reinforce your new inner dialogue. Just as old habits were formed over time, new habits will need time and repetition to take root. The more you speak to yourself in alignment with your desires, the more natural it will become. Over time, your inner conversations will begin to reflect the new reality you are creating, and you will notice that your thoughts, actions, and emotions start to align with your desires. It may feel awkward or uncomfortable at first, but consistency is the key. The more you practice positive inner conversations, the more they will become your default mode of thinking. It is also important to remember that what you say to yourself about others matters just as much. If you constantly find yourself speaking negatively about other people or assuming the worst in them, this too will shape your reality. Your thoughts about others are a reflection of your own beliefs and assumptions, and they can either attract or repel the experiences you desire. If you want to manifest harmonious relationships, for example, it's important to have positive, loving conversations about others in your mind. See people as supportive, loving, and kind. Assume the best in them, and you will find that those very qualities begin to show up in your interactions with others. The key to using your inner dialogue to manifest your desires is speaking with authority. You are the creator of your own reality, and the words you speak to yourself must reflect that power. Speak as though you are already the person you want to be. Speak as though you are already living the life you desire. When you make your inner conversations match the energy of your desires, you will begin to see the world around you shift in response. The more you align your inner dialogue with your desires, the more you align with the energy of those desires, and the faster they will manifest. It's also important to understand that your inner conversations must be in harmony with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It's not just about the words you speak, it's about embodying the emotion that comes with already having what you want. When you feel the emotions of success, love, health, or wealth in your body as if they are already present, your inner dialogue takes on a new power. The combination of feeling and speaking from the place of already having accelerates the manifestation process. Finally, always remember that your inner dialogue is a reflection of your self-worth. The way you speak to yourself is a direct reflection of how much you believe in your ability to create and receive your desires. If you want to manifest your dreams, you must first speak to yourself with love, respect, and confidence. By changing your inner conversations to reflect your highest self, you send a powerful message to your subconscious mind that you are worthy of all the good things you desire. This, in turn, will create the foundation for your manifestation to unfold effortlessly and in perfect timing. As you continue to transform your inner dialogue, you will begin to see your world change in ways you never thought possible. Your external reality is simply a reflection of your internal conversations. So take control of the conversation you're having with yourself. Speak with confidence, belief, and authority, and watch as the universe responds to the new energy you are creating. The world you experience is nothing more than a reflection of the internal state of your mind. Everything you see, hear, and feel is a product of the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you hold within. What you may not realize is that you have the power to shape and transform your entire reality simply by changing the way you perceive it. The power to manifest your desires lies in your ability to shift your perception of what is possible for you. If you can change the way you look at your circumstances, you can change your life. The concept of perception is often misunderstood. People tend to believe that their reality is fixed, that the world is the way it is and they are simply subject to it. But this is a mistaken belief. Reality is fluid, and it responds to the way you perceive it. Your perception is the lens through which you interpret everything around you. If you perceive the world as a place of scarcity, lack, and struggle, then that is exactly what you will experience. If you perceive the world as abundant, full of opportunity, and brimming with possibility, then that is the world you will attract. The shift in perception is where the magic of manifestation begins. The first step in shifting your perception is to become aware of how you currently view the world. What beliefs do you hold about yourself and the world around you? Do you believe that success is difficult to attain, that wealth is reserved for a select few, or that love is something that you must chase? These beliefs are the product of your perception, and they shape the world you live in. If you are experiencing challenges, setbacks, or limitations, it is a direct reflection of the way you perceive yourself and your circumstances. Once you have become aware of your current perception, the next step is to change the way you see things. Instead of seeing obstacles and challenges as insurmountable, begin to see them as opportunities for growth and transformation. Instead of seeing failure as something to fear, see it as a stepping stone to success. Start looking for the lessons and the blessings in every situation and begin to view the world through the lens of abundance and possibility. When you change your perception, you change the way you respond to life, and in doing so, you change the course of your destiny. One of the most powerful ways to shift your perception is through imagination. Your imagination is the creative force that shapes your reality. By vividly imagining the life you desire, you begin to create a new perception of what is possible for you. This imaginative act is not just a daydream or a fantasy. It is a process of planting seeds in your subconscious mind that will eventually blossom into your external reality. When you use your imagination to picture yourself already living the life you desire, you are aligning your perception with the reality you wish to create. The more you engage your imagination, the more you begin to see the world around you in a new light. It is important to recognize that your external reality is a reflection of your internal state. If you want to change your circumstances, you must first change the way you perceive yourself and your situation. This means changing the stories you tell yourself. Most people live out stories of lack, limitation, and struggle, but you have the power to rewrite your own story. Start telling yourself a new story, one where you are abundant, successful, and capable of achieving anything you desire. The more you tell yourself this new story, the more your perception will shift and your external reality will begin to reflect the new narrative you have created. Your perception of time plays a crucial role in your ability to manifest your desires. Many people think of the future as something distant, something that will come at some point, but is not currently available. But in truth, time is an illusion, and everything that you desire already exists in the present moment. Your perception of time shapes the way you approach your goals. If you see success as something that will take years to achieve, you may delay taking action or become discouraged when things don't happen immediately. On the other hand, if you begin to perceive your goals as already fulfilled, as already part of your present reality, you will act with confidence, knowing that your desires are already on their way to you. Your perception of yourself is perhaps the most important factor in shaping your reality. If you see yourself as unworthy of success, love, or abundance, you will unconsciously block these things from entering your life. But if you begin to see yourself as deserving of all the good things life has to offer, you will naturally attract those things to you. Your perception of your own worth and abilities directly influences what you allow into your life. If you see yourself as capable, powerful, and deserving, you will begin to act in ways that reflect that perception, and the world will mirror those actions. Another crucial aspect of shifting your perception is understanding that everything is energy. The way you perceive the world is influenced by the energy you are putting out. If you are constantly focused on what you don't have, you are emitting an energy of lack and scarcity. But if you focus on what you already have, on the abundance and the blessings in your life, you shift your energy to that of gratitude and abundance. This shift in energy is the key to attracting more of what you want. By changing the way you perceive your circumstances, you change the energy you are emitting, and the universe responds by bringing more of the same into your life. As you continue to shift your perception, you will notice that the world begins to mirror your new outlook. People, opportunities, and experiences that align with your new perception will begin to show up in your life. This is not a coincidence, it is the law of attraction in action. The world is constantly responding to the energy you are putting out. And when you change your perception, you change the energy you are emitting. This, in turn, changes the way the world interacts with you. The more you practice shifting your perception, the more effortless it becomes. What was once a struggle or a challenge will soon feel like second nature as you begin to view the world through the lens of possibility and abundance. Your new perception will become your reality, and the life you once dreamed of will unfold before your eyes. This process is not about waiting for the world to change, it is about changing the way you see the world. When you shift your perception, everything else falls into place, and the life you desire becomes your new reality. So remember that your reality is not fixed, it is constantly changing based on the way you perceive it. If you want to manifest your desires, you must first change the way you perceive the world around you. By shifting your perception, you shift your reality, and the life you have always wanted becomes within your reach. The essence of manifestation lies in understanding the profound connection between your inner world and the outer reality. Everything you experience is a direct reflection of the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you hold in your mind. When you recognize that your inner dialogue shapes your external reality, you begin to harness the power to transform your life. It is not enough to passively wait for change to occur. You must actively participate in the creation of your own reality by shifting your perception, adjusting your thoughts, and controlling your inner conversations. As you begin to consciously speak to yourself with confidence, positivity, and conviction, you start to align your mental and emotional state with your desires. Your internal world then begins to reflect in the external world, bringing you closer to the life you want. Remember that imagination is your creative tool. By vividly imagining the reality you desire, you plant the seeds in your subconscious mind, allowing them to grow into your lived experience. Your perception of yourself, your circumstances, and your future plays a pivotal role in determining your success. When you change the way you see yourself and the world, you automatically shift the energy you emit, aligning with the frequency of your desires and attracting them into your life. Consistency and awareness are key to this transformative process. The more you practice speaking to yourself with authority, believing in the power of your thoughts, and aligning your perception with your desires, the more your reality will begin to mirror these changes. Your ability to manifest is directly linked to the conversations you have with yourself, the stories you tell, and the energy you put out into the world. By embracing this understanding and applying it to every area of your life, you empower yourself to manifest your dreams faster and more effortlessly. The journey to manifestation is not about wishing for things to happen. It is about shifting your perception and aligning with the reality you want to create. When you master your inner dialogue and perceive the world through the lens of possibility and abundance, you become the architect of your own destiny.